So I'm here with Joseph Akable to do a review of the newspapers, and we have to talk about many things as well. He has great opinion on a lot of things of national concern. And Joseph is here. Good morning to you, Joseph.
Good morning, Roland.
Thanks for joining me.
It's always good to be here.
Yeah, sure. What's your page on Facebook?
Joseph Akable.
Joseph Akable, yeah. Just simple. Tell me, simple to say, yeah. So you have the Daily Graphic.
Yeah, the Daily Graphic. The front page of the Daily Graphic, there is a photograph of the Energy Minister. The big news has to do with a major oil contract that Ghana has signed. The headline says, major boost for oil sector. Government signs pact with ExxonMobil over $600 million to accrue in 2018.
Wow.
And this is the area where we're having a dispute with Cote d'Ivoire. So that tells you after the decision came in, we finally got clearance and we've entered into an agreement.
So that's a leeway now.
The leeway now.
And I'm told that there's a lot more wells that have been discovered in that area. Not even talking about unexplored areas like the Voltaic Basin and all that. But that's good news, right?
Very good news. But the expectation is that we expect change in the lives of the people. You know, recently we discussed 10 years of oil discovery, and the concerns was that it appears the life of the people are the same, especially even in the areas where the mining itself takes place, the exploration. We are talking about the Cape 3 points, the Western region to be precise. So the expectation is that this should change
That's
the
where
life
you
of the
come
people.
from, I think.
Yes, I'm from the Western region.
So you're an indigenous, so you're very familiar with the issues. I'm sure from your relatives when
interested.
they talk about it, etc. All right, so what other stories do we have?
The other one has to do with JB Dankwa Edu, the MP who was murdered. We have been told the court has ordered the pathologist to produce the autopsy report by February 8. Earlier, the pathologist told the court that he could not find the autopsy report because some thieves broke into his apartment sometime in September, and the court has asked him to produce another report.
Were you in court that day?
No, not the last time I was in court.
But you got great
I was
information.
given. Yes.
Well, that was intriguing.
It was interesting in a sense that, I mean, he had been ordered about 3 times to appear before the court. He had failed. Then when he appeared subsequently, he came with a narration that his house was broken into, and for that reason, he can't find the report and asking for more time to produce it. But he has now been asked to make that available to the court by February 8th. So the expectation is that on that date, it will be available. This case has taken far too long. You can imagine if it's an ordinary citizen. This is a former member of parliament.
Yeah, definitely. It's just sad that somebody of a high-profile nature, we can't even get some of these things right. So I'm even thinking about what will happen to the ordinary individual.
Yeah, it's also. But the last one here is from the Jospon CEO. He's saying one district, one factory can break unemployment jinx.
Well, I wish Nana Danko Kufado and this government with the implementation of, is it the 1D, 1F? That's what it is.
We are waiting to see the factories up and running.
Has any taken place at all?
We've seen the cuts off for one, but it hasn't been opened. It was just to cut for construction.
Has work started for that project?
The last time Kojunyako visited the place, work had not started.
Okay. Well, we hope all the best. Can you go to the back page and let's see what's there?
The back page, Ashanti business delegation to visit China, and Dreams FC reach G8 final. That is the Premier League, the top 8 teams. Well,
I have the Ghanaian Times. On the front page of the Ghanaian Times, we have the deal, the Ghana ExxonMobil sign oil compact, oil pack for exploration activities. And Joseph, ExxonMobil is US, right?
I'm not so sure about that. I'm not so sure about that. But I listened to the energy minister talk about their credentials, and the impression I got was they know their way around.
Yes, when we read about them, I mean, you know about their activities around, and they're big. They're big, very big, one of the biggest around the world. We have 1DF has potential to 10 Ghana's fortunes, again from the Jospon CEO. He was appearing at the New Year School, the annual New Year School organized by the University of Ghana. We also have the NCA procuring or procured surveillance system or request from national security, according to the board chair. What's all this about?
It has to do with the trial of some former top executives who have been accused of causing financial loss to the state. So the state's first witness, who is a director legal at the NCA currently, was in a witness box to testify against her former bosses, and she's saying that as far as she's concerned, the NCA as an institution was not aware its director general was entering into that agreement with the company to deliver the cyber surveillance equipment, because the evidence from the board minutes doesn't show that approval was given for monies to be withdrawn from the NCA account to be used for the purchase. But the concern for lawyers for the defense team is that the woman is someone who was asked to proceed on leave during the tenure of the Director General, and they say she's unhappy, so she wants to take revenge against them, for which reason she appeared in court to testify. So it's still early days in the trial. First witness, we'll see how it goes eventually.
Okay, so let's go to the back page of the Ghanaian Times, and on the back page we have implemented parts of government white paper. It's according to a deputy minister of sports, Pius Hajide, and you have a picture there of Pius Hajide there. And we also have Ghana ranked 50th by FIFA, and we've still not qualified to World Cup. So
Roland, you see the white paper story?
Yeah.
That is what was asked. The president.
Okay. So let me just I didn't go through the story. It says the Deputy Minister of Youth and Sports, Pius Enam Hajide, has stated that the ministry has been working with the recommendations of the Brazil 2014 FIFA World Cup Commissioning of Inquiry. We all witnessed it live.
Yeah.
And it was a question asked by Songo, for which many commentators and even himself feels that Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, the president who was responding to a question, didn't give a very good response.
Yes, in fact, he, for some, they say he was being honest, but the fact of the matter is that, I mean, almost 4 years after that committee was set up and a white paper has been issued, it's important that whoever is responsible for that sector should be able to brief the president appropriately on it, because if the sports minister is there and he couldn't give the president that briefing ahead of that engagement, it tells you the kind of planning that the organizers undertook before the event. Clearly, sports was not one of the issues they were considering, because this is an issue that the sports guys have been talking about for far too long. They feel that if it is implemented, there are people who were named, some action should have been taken. It should be taken in the courts if necessary. So it is interesting that now the deputy minister is coming out to come and explain that some parts of it is being implemented. The president, like we saw him do on that day, fell on the transport minister on some of the issues, but with this particular issue, he admitted that he had forgotten about it, and I don't think it's very pleasing to hear. And the response coming from the deputy minister, equally worrying as well.
Well, so we have other stories there, but we have more newspapers. I have the Daily Dispatch, but before I do that, you have
Daily Guide. Let's do some stories relating to the NDC. On the front page, we have been told Mohammed's second coming a waste. It's coming from Sylvester Mensah.
And Sylvester Mensah appeared on
Hard Truth.
It's aired right here on the channel, and that's quite controversial, because I know also on is it Newsnight on Joy FM yesterday, it was topical because early on we had the former majority leader,
second deputy speaker,
making a lot of commentary about the current matches that are being organized.
Yeah, he's saying the former president has hijacked the party.
What has been the news in town around all those, and the opinion that have been shared by whether neutralists or perhaps those who are dying in the whole NDC?
Well, the consensus is that, I mean, it's early days. The party is concentrating on its reorganization, so they don't understand why individuals should be declaring their intention. But the consensus of people who support the other candidates, the non-Mahama faction, is the fact that it's supposed to be a rebuilding exercise. But the former president appears to be the face of that event, and that is why he's seen across the country addressing the unity work. But the national organizer Kofi Adams yesterday on Joy FM was very unhappy about what is happening. The comments that Mr. Gbabin, you know, some individuals have petitioned the Council of Elders that some action should be taken against him. So just a few minutes after that, or few hours, then we just hear Mohammed's second coming a waste coming from Sylvester Mensah. That clearly tells you that, I mean, there are lots of people in the NDC who I don't think the former president should be given a shot at the presidency again. But it will be interesting to see how the president, the party itself, reacts to all what is happening within its ranks.
But we are journalists. We are supposed to make sure that we project what is the views of the public. Sharing an opinion, really, it's guaranteed by the Constitution, and it's not wrong, is it? And the things or the content of what they say, or the two individuals have said so far, is it inimical to the progress of rebuilding?
It is. You see, the problem people have is that they think that it's too early for people to be projecting their personal interest. They want the conversation to be around the party and its structures, its holding constituency elections. They feel it's too early to be attacking others and creating an impression that they should not be given a chance to lead the party. And that is what the concern of the party. I mean, people can air their views, but when you belong to a party, they expect the group approach. You can just have your own.
So that's the newest of the stories on the front page.
Yes, but the other ones have to do with the NCA trial. We have been told gang of 5 hot. That is Daily Guide. And Anna Hill's GNPC ExxonMobil deal. and it comes along with a photograph of the president, the energy minister, and some representatives from the company that signed that agreement.
Okay, so quickly let's go through the Daily Dispatch. It has on the front page Akufo-Addo's puzzle on gold exports to UAE. Our records show $2 million, but their records show $7 million. Joe Anoche confirmed as Director General of NCA. One district, one factory will create jobs, just one CEO. And up there we have, it's an inside page story, focus on the late Nana Tibudako, the ninth. All right, so those are the stories we have. But let's look at some of the critical stories also on the other newspapers.
The Finder, the front page of the Finder says, irrigation $32 million contract awarded for rehabilitation and completion of Pone Left Bank irrigation project. So the ExxonMobil story is also on the front page. One district, one factory projects receive financial cover, and AIDS Commission cautions against unsafe sex. Talk of HIV/AIDS. Was it latter part of last week? There was a report about 80% increase in reported cases. Later, we heard a bit about a denial and among other issues. The campaign for people to abstain and go by all the ways to ensure they don't contract HIV/AIDS, it appears to be dying down over the years. Roland, I recall when I was young in the early 2000s, it was all over on television and everywhere. But this time around, it appears the talk of HIV/AIDS has gone down a bit. And I have friends who tell me that people are scared of impregnating others than HIV/AIDS. I don't know what you make of that.
Well, I during the beginning of my career, or I think when I was in journalism school, I did a couple of the ads too back in '99 and part of 2000 on HIV and promote, because at the time the USAID also had a big budget for the Ghana AIDS Commission and other partners, and they were supposed to do Stop AIDS Love Life campaign. It was a whole campaign, and subsequently we had a number of funds, but now the funding seems to be drying up.
Yeah.
The responsibility or the onus now lies with the government of Ghana to be pushing through some of these activities for the Ghana AIDS Commission. And I believe that it's because they've not been doing that, or we've not been budgeting adequately for that. That is why we've had the information ongoing, because consistently we need the information to be out there. Our health system is not the best, so we cannot take care of a lot more cases, even though when you have HIV, you could be taken care of.
And treatment in itself is expensive, so
yes,
that also tells you.
So that's why we need to combat it. We need to be more creative and very proactive than just reactionary. And I believe it's a great concern. You know anybody who has HIV?
Personally, I don't know anyone.
You should go look for some friends who do. Perhaps you never know. But so you've taken a look at the Finder. Let's look at a couple of the stories we have. Let's do the Daily Statesman newspaper. It has on the front page 5.7 billion Ghana CD NDC loot. Shocking details from Education Ministry. And Ghana's world's fastest growing economy. Okay, Ghana, world's fastest growing economy in 2018. And then we have $4 million NCA deal had no board approval, according to a legal director. So those are the stories we have on the front page of the paper. But let's do the Business and Financial Times.
Minister Hill's ExxonMobil deal has been among the best. There's a photograph of Abuache Jako, the energy minister. Government's risk missing deficit target is coming from economists, and 3.1 billion pension cash transferred to labor unions. Unions confirm receipt of funds, and one district, one factory has the potential to turn fortunes around. I'm seeing a bit of trend. It appears there are some key stories that run through almost all the newspapers. So NCA, one district, one factory, and the ExxonMobil deal. So more like a slow news day today for the papers.
Very, very slow. You like diversity. I think you love diversity. But let's look at the various online portals, and straight away, we always have to start with our own, myjoyonline.com. But just in case you don't know, you can always watch us live on YouTube. Ever watch us on YouTube before?
Many times.
Right.
Many times.
And the channel we have on YouTube is My Joy Online TV. Go search for it. When you get onto My Joy Online TV, we're always live there, and you get to watch us. But the good thing is that for many of the segments that are on all the programming on the platform that is on JoyNews, you can always watch the uploaded segment. So that's a good thing. But Joseph, let's do myjoyonline.com.
MyJoyOnline says Ghana not susceptible by attack by external elements that is coming from international relations and security analyst, Dr. Vladimir Intridan. So the story about pathologists being ordered to produce the late MP's autopsy report by February 8 is also on myjoyonline.com. And Wasipe conflict, Buipe Paramount chief brokers peace between feuding factions. That is some good news in the Gonja traditional area where very unfortunately we hear lots of news about conflict in the area. It's good the chiefs themselves are moving in to help.
Yeah, very good too. Very good too.
Global confidence in U.S. leadership. That's your friend under Trump.
Yeah, I love him.
We have been told that confidence in U.S. leadership is at an all-time low.
Well, that's what the so-called neutral said.
So that's what the poll is.
It's the Democrats who are doing all this, and the fake media in the U.S.
Where are the Republican posters? They should come out to their own polls.
Now we had, for example, recently we had Senator Flake, who was born in Snowflake, and saying that he was not going to run in 2019 and all that. But you know, they have a consistent way of measuring the popularity of those who are in the Senate, etc., or even the presidency. So you get to know what your ratings are, and if it's closer to an election, a year or 6 months, if you're not up there, even within your own ranking, that's a great problem. Yeah. And for those who tend to speak or stand up to Trump, they always tend to have low ratings. But it also means that Trump is popular within his party. And you may say whatever you want to say.
The problem is a lot of people disagree with how he goes about his stuff.
Yeah, true.
I mean, he's too blunt to be a president.
He's not your usual conservative politician.
Not at all.
Who wants, maybe like a marketer, give you a very good value about a product and all. But he just says that, look, what I'm selling is green, and it is green.
Yeah, just that way.
Yeah,
but
he will not tell you it is red.
Trump will say.
I mean, that's the thing I love about him. The thing is, for all the immigrants who go there, they go to take away the jobs of the ordinary U.S. citizen, and that's a great concern for him.
It's a concern in any part of the world. Well, in Ghana, we're talking about how Chinese are engaged in illegal mining.
He's the leader of the biggest country in the world.
Yeah, but the approach, the kind of approach he's using, I mean.
Well, I know it's a bit problematic.
You can undertake it by not rubbing it in the face of people. You can still do it anyways.
Yeah, I know. All right. So you mean if you're supposed to go to a U.S. city to go to school, you won't go?
I will certainly go. I mean, the U.S. is a good place to be.
look at this immigrant.
The only concern is Mr. Trump should slow down.
This would be immigrants. But let's move on.
Akufo-Addo informed on the autonomy of GFAs coming from Fuamoni. He was a member of the World Cup Commission of Inquiry, and it flowed from a question that Songo posed to the president about what is happening within the GFA, and the president said that international bodies recognize that the football associations are often independent, and that is the concern Mr. Fuamoni is raising, that is not entirely accurate.
So we have more stories.
GJA calls for recall of GBC Director General, appeals for NMC intervention. So that interesting story, the GJA wading in there, that is an active GJA, Roland.
Very active now. Headed by my namesake, my former boss, Roland Afamoni. You know, beginning of my career, he was very instrumental. When I started as a service person, started work at GBC before.
Oh, that's interesting. That's interesting.
So I'm very familiar and close to him. Okay.
Why some African Americans are moving to Africa? They have come from the big cities of San Francisco, Chicago, and New York. Thousands of them, we are told.
A few I've seen in Ghana.
We have been told, and many refuse to return.
When they are pensioners, really, when they have expended all the energies on America.
But they come with good money. Put up
spend
nice
some money.
And
Anyway, yeah.
The last one on my Online says aviation minister bears teeth at British Airways over bed bags attack. That is interesting to improve. So she has cautioned the British Airways to improve their services to Ghana, or they will be sanctioned. That is the latest coming in the aviation sector. Strong warning coming from the minister. JoyNews gets results. That will definitely be the big story for today. First Lady commissions cut mother and baby units today. After 5 months, finally, it is complete and ready to save lives. And we have to thank all those who contributed towards putting it up. That tells you that when citizens and our leaders and journalists, we all agree that we need to do something, we can get it done.
Charlie, when are we also going to raise something for ourselves? Because sometimes we're not able to afford good accommodation, salaries are
You mean
poor.
journalists themselves?
Yes. Oh, there's it. Haketi anenye. You ever see that guy? Bre. Oh, there's it. Yeah, bro.
Well,
We keep raising 10 million. We make the politicians popular. Politicians based my program. Be 1 year, 2 years. No, 1 year fine. What if V8? If you can see it. Now, what if firms are until move?
It will get well.
Look at you. Shall move to City?
City FM, GJ demands recall of embattled GBC boss. That's the story. And government policies can succeed without employment. That is coming from the Kuku Kwartin. That is.
I say he's going grey.
Yeah.
Shall being government stuff?
A lot of thinking.
But he's fattening up too, so that's better.
Provide evidence for inflated Mahama. That is coming from
Kwame Agboja. He's a member of Parliament for Adaklu in the Volta region. Yeah. He's also a ranking member for the Roads and Transport Committee of Parliament.
Okay. So Thaddeus Sorry grills NCA's legal director in court. So that is coming from the NCA.
Have you been sitting in those?
Yes. Okay, I'm yet to miss a session.
Oh yeah.
So it's long. Start around 8:30 a.m. to 3 p.m.
It'll be pretty boring.
It's not boring.
I used to be a court reporter too.
Oh, that's interesting.
I wanted to become a lawyer too when I was back in secondary school, but then because I started sitting in the court, Charlie was boring.
Then from there you were.
But now everybody's becoming a lawyer, so we all want to become
lawyers. From
there
you're on the screens and good money and you abandoned it entirely.
Yeah, I think I shouldn't have. Anyway, let's go on.
Amewe edges calm among small-scale miners over ban. NCA board didn't approve withdrawal of $4 million according to legal director in state of 217 million UG Medical Center. Roland, if you've not seen the photographs from the University of Ghana Medical Center, you should do so. The place looks amazing. Those are fair talk about the Greater Accra Regional Hospital, Rage Hospital like we call it, and they are excited about it. I keep saying to them, if you've not seen the University of Ghana Medical Center.
But this one is more expensive, right?
Yes.
It's 600 and something million.
217 million. Actually.
Yeah, at the time it was 3 times Ghana cedis. So
yeah.
That's why. I'm still living in the past days.
No, we had any currency.
Anyway, so let's go to the Africa page of the BBC. Usually we do the Africa page of the BBC.
I see. Cape Town slashes water use amid drought. That is not good news coming from South Africa. And Zimbabwe politician dies in US air crash. Hila faked hundreds of pregnancies.
And we know that story is coming from Guinea. Yeah. It was about somebody who said that she could make ladies pregnant, and so apparently was giving them some concoctions, and the medical effect was that I think he bloated the intestines and all that, so it made their stomachs.
Oh God.
Yeah.
So they wait for 9 months and.
Yeah, some of them waited for 16 months, and now she's being apprehended or arrested by the security authorities, and she said that she always told them that she was not God, but they will get pregnant. And some of them developed those bellies that looked like pregnancy. But really, it was the effects of the concoctions she was giving them. And she took lots of money for them.
That's unfortunate. I mean, stories such as this keep coming up about how in this era it appears there's still some myths or thoughts of thinking people are not having babies and they believe some traditionally somewhere can help them. It's not good news. Cameroon jails, that's in Cameroon, we have been told that wife in place of husband. That is, they jail the wife in place of husband. So that story is also there. Bakambu on for African record, 65 million deal also been reported by.
And that deal, he plays for a team in Spain, is it Villarreal or something like that?
I have not seen him play, but I've heard a lot about him.
And then he's going to a Chinese, Chinese, now they have a lot of money to spend on their soccer, so that's great news. But I think that's a wrap for all the reviews we've been having. Now, well, so let's try as much as possible to keep you up to date. We're going to be live in Kumasi today, and Mama View Sabwaji and the rest of the team. They are bringing to you live commissioning of the new mother and baby unit of the Komfo Nochi Teaching Hospital because of a great initiative started by Seth Kwame Boateng's special documentary. And following that partnership with the First Lady, Mrs. Rebecca Kufado, through her foundation, the Rebecca Foundation, we'll have a great edifice, just in excess of over 10 million Ghana cedis. That edifice is now ready to be commissioned today. So we'll be live there and bring you all the sights and sounds of Kumasi, but also the main commissioning. But that'll be it for now. We have to bring into the discussion Benedict Owusu, who is going to bring you all the top stories about the transfers and what's going to take place the next weekend in the world of sports. But let me, before Benedict comes in, you know Alexis Sanchez?
Yes, I know him. Is the Chilean national plays for Arsenal. That is, I'm into this heading to Manchester United now. Yes, in a swap deal.
Yes, according to what Arsene Wenger said in his last press conference, it's almost like a deal almost done.
I thought
it may fall
I would have preferred him head to Man City instead.
Yes,
because
if
Guardiola
he wants to
was
win
interested.
titles, but they have like for like players of him. So I think Manchester United needs him more.
That's true.
Than Manchester City. But if he wants to win, you know, sometimes humans want to look at the short-term glories. He's not.
It doesn't seem like Arsenal is a team where he'll be winning trophies anytime soon.
No, but I think that he'll win more trophies in Manchester City, but he'll win some in Manchester United,
and he'll play more. And win none at Arsenal.
Cry. All right, so take a break for us.
So we're taking a break.
All right. Oh, yeah, too good. We're taking a break. Benedict Owusu will be here with the latest sports stories. Do stay on.